After performing this repair 7 times, I'm getting pretty good at doing this. So we start out by removing all the food in the refrigerated compartment. I didn't bother this time to remove the food in the shelves on the doors. Figured most of that was probably in pretty good shape. Went ahead and removed all the shelves, and then the bottom shelf, which houses the vegetable bins, there's a little button over on the side, on the left side, and if you press that in, then you're able to lift up that entire shelf assembly and pull it out of the refrigerator. So once that's done, you have easy access to the back panel. Here's the back panel. There are 4 screws to remove, those 3 on the bottom, 1 behind that little cover at the top. The shelf holder here you don't have to remove, you can leave it in place. There's also 3 tabs on each side of this housing. Okay, so I remove each of the screws and the shelving holder in the middle. Okay, once I do that, I start to pry off the sides. The tabs that are in the little piece here hold it all in place, and you can see we have a lot of ice back here. I will say, be very careful when you're doing this part, because if it's frozen over on the edge, you may tear up the foam pads. Go ahead and disassemble or remove the cover connectors for the fan, and then you'll see I've got lots of ice in here. Along the bottom, it's also frozen over, so that's the drain hole right there, and it's completely frozen over, so there's no way for water that does melt to go down the drain and out to the back. There's lots of ice in here, as you can see. It's covering most of the top section here, and I'm going to have to remove that. So what I started doing was this time I used one of those little steamers that you use to get wrinkles out of clothes. It takes a long time to do this, and some people will use a hair dryer. I used the steamer. It took about 30 minutes. I was able to remove all of the ice. As you can see, it's still pretty wet, and there's still ice at the bottom there. So that has to be removed as well, so you have a way for the water to drain. So I did finally remove all that, and with the help of the steamer, or again, I guess you could use a hair dryer. Now at this point, I put a fan to help dry out the coils. I wanted them to be dry, and some people will use an air compressor. I've seen that used as well to blow out the moisture around the coils, and that will work as well. So after I've done all this and dried it out, the coil's nice and dry, no more water inside there, and that works well. I did notice I thought was a piece of hair or something, but turned out to be a little hairline crack there. I'm not exactly sure why that's there, or if it will affect the refrigerator, but I did notice that, which I do not recall seeing in the past. So, okay, I also noticed in the cover there was ice behind the fan, several pieces of ice. So I pulled them out. Here's the largest piece that I pulled out. Once I got all the ice out from inside that cover, I went ahead and reconnected the fan power lines and reassembled that. Pushed in the tabs on both sides, made sure it was nice and flush, and then I went ahead and reassembled the shelving assembly holder and put in the 4 screws back in. And you can see that part's done. And then I went ahead and reassembled the bottom shelf that houses the vegetable bins. That just goes in from the top, and you just snap it right down. It goes right in very easily. And then I went ahead and reassembled put the shelves back into the refrigerator. And once I did all that, The only thing left to do once you get the shelves in is to go ahead and I reapplied power. Sometimes it might be helpful to take a picture before you do that if you want the shelves to be in the same configuration as you did when you take it out. So I reapplied power. It came up, worked back to normal. And what I did here is I pressed the fridge button at the top to do the power chill function. So hopefully it will cool down a little quicker. And that pretty much details my disassembly and repair. Thank you very much for watching.